This is Political Thursday on Full Service Radio, 830 WCRN. Now,
Mike's live. Tax the rich, feed the poor, tell there are no rich no more.
All right. Good morning, folks. I'm Joe Mangiacotti, sitting in for Jerry Doherty, who's vacationing. Everything's fine. He's perfectly happy. I'm just going to fly solo today. And Holly won't be joining us. So, first of all, Merry Christmas. And by the way, a happy Festivus. Good morning, Ted A. Ted A flying the board, folks. Do you know today is Festivus?
Good morning, Festivus for the rest of us.
For the rest of us, I think actually on my Facebook page we might play the little the little Festivus thing at a
That's
break
great.
when we'll come into that. So, all right, folks, let's take care of housekeeping. You can join the conversation over the next hour at 508-871-7000. That's 508-871-7000. And because I'm in, we're also doing our text line, so that's up and available at 617-297-8388, or email me at textjoeintheradio@gmail.com. This is Political Thursday, and this is where Jerry talks about how politics and your money do come together at some point on the horizon, and that is what we do every Thursday at 10 o'clock. We talk about the interchange of those two things. And Ted, I thought before we got into some of the new stuff, it's Christmas miracle time. Did you catch this story? This is just a fantastic, heartwarming Christmas miracle.
Oh, I need something like that.
Two babies who were in that horrible tornado in Kentucky were found alive in a bathtub, folks. A 15-month-old, Caden, and a 3-month-old named Dallas were in a bathtub, and the grandmother, the tornado's hitting. The grandmother's petrified. She takes the children, the babies, she puts them into the bathtub and tucks them in, like packs them in there with pillows and blankets and the Bible. And this is in Hopkins County. The house started to shake and the roof started to rip off, and it did. And the tornado ripped the tub out, even the grandmother got hit in the head with a water heater and gone. So this family, the grandmother, they have no idea where these two babies are. They're presumed dead, of course, dead. And Friday, a couple of deputies are near where the house stood, and they hear something. They hear the crying. And, of course, they can't believe this, right? Well, they absolutely start ripping through. And the deputy, Lutz, he said, next thing I knew, the tub had lifted, and it was out of my hands, and I couldn't hold on to it. Excuse me, that was the grandmother saying that when it happened, and it ripped. So the deputy finds this tub and lifts it and it's upside down, Ted. He turns it over, and there are the babies, alive. The 15-month-old had a bump on the head, went to the hospital, totally checked out, healthy, hungry, a little dehydrated, right? All of that you would think for a few days in a bathtub after a storm, but two babies. Small children, folks, 15-month-old and a 3-month-old survived the tornado in the bathtub. So
is it fair to say a Christmas miracle?
I think it's very fair to say a Christmas miracle. It's just, we need a good story once in a while, folks, and this is a great story. And like I said, the grandmother a lot, she was hit in the head with a water tank. And she began looking everywhere in the wreckage and just had no idea where the tub was. And if you go on to my Facebook page, just find the story. You'll find it. It's easy to find. And you'll see what's left of the house. It's leveled. And the tub was not that far, but it was in the wreckage. And so Christmas miracle, a good feel story there. All right, 508-871-7000 to join the conversation. This is Political Thursday, and we do talk about the interchange of your money in politics every Thursday at 10 o'clock. Jerry Doherty is out. I am sitting in the big chair for him, guest hosting, and taking your calls. So let's do this and do this right. Let's start off the hour. We'll go to the phones first. Mark in Worcester. Hey, Mark, good morning and Merry Christmas to you, sir, and Happy Festivus.
Yes, and Merry Christmas to you, and that includes you, Ted. Merry Christmas and Happy Festivus.
Ted A or Ted E?
Ted A.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mark.
You're welcome.
Back at
All
you,
right,
brother.
now let's get right down to brass tacks here.
I wish you would.
About a year ago, a man by the name of Dr. Charles Lieber was arrested
Yeah.
by the FBI.
Yeah.
Tuesday, Dr. Charles Lieber, who is a high-powered Harvard professor / scientific researcher, was convicted by the federal government in a federal court on 6 different charges. Very serious charges. We're not talking the misuse or inappropriate use of an EBT card. He should be looking at 10 to 20 years in the federal joint. I'm not going to get too deep into the weeds on the seriousness of these 6 charges, but he was found guilty on 6 charges.
Yeah.
He has a very interesting background. Like I say, I'm not going to get too far into the weeds on this guy, but it stinks to high heaven.
Well, Mark, yes, actually, Dr. Lieberman is on my notes here to get into. I was going to do it a little later in the show, but let's jump into it right now. First of all, I'm disgusted with this guy, and he should be locked up for a long time. This is what was going on, folks. The government officials actually wanted to go after him for espionage and treason. Those were what they wanted to go after him for, but they could not get those to stick. So they actually went after him on perjury and some of these lesser crimes. They're serious enough, but not serious enough to give him some real time. That's the problem here. See, he lied on some forms. This guy was first of all, he got this deal. And let's talk about the fact that China, first of all, has been stealing billions of dollars in intellectual property from the United States on a regular basis. And they have an entire program set up to do this. All right. He became, unbeknown to Harvard University, starting way back in 2011, Lieber became a strategic scientist at the Wuhan University of Technology, WUT, they call it, right, in China. And he was a contractual participant in China's, and this is what they call it, 1,000 Talents Plan. That's this program that they have in China. And it is just the state's way of stealing intellectual property. And they do this by going after these professors, right? The academi all over the country. And the thing about it is, China says their attitude is that there is no American that can't be bought. Yeah, cannot be bought, cannot be flipped. This is what they do. They can do it with either money or the honeypot. Let's not forget Fan, right? We got Fan and Swallow, who he was a victim of the honeypot. And now we have a Chinese secret police, or their espionage, their spies in there. Come on, let's face it, guys. Swalwell is a jamoke. She raised the money, got him into these parties, got him into Congress so that she'd have access. Ted?
Don't burn past the fact that these same Chinese operatives are in the business of giving access to powerful people back through the media. So it's part of their methodology of maintaining the narrative.
Yes. They have so many people bought. And this is the problem we have right now, because we have a guy in the Oval Office that is owned lock, stock, and barrel by China. Between the compromising information they have on the son, Hunter Biden, and the money that's exchanged hands. Now, this guy's in trouble for not reporting to Harvard and not on his taxes, $50,000. And that is almost Hunter Biden money, folks. $50,000 a month, plus $1.5 million to set up a lab for himself. So $1.5 million ka-ching up front, $50,000 a month. And so they're getting him for tax evasion. They're getting him for lying on the forms, right? Because when you have to, Harvard, like many universities, do a lot of work that is government connected, government research, and you have to fill out a form. And in that form, it asked you, you've got to disclose any connection to foreign powers at all, foreign governments. And federal investigators say that, hey, he lied about his involvement with China and the Wuhan University and the 1,000 talents contract. So $50,000 a month, $1.5 million to set up a research lab. They gave him round trip business class flights to and from China. And you think, well, a plane ticket. Yeah, business, you're talking about $3,000, $2,500, $3,000 a ticket there.
Yeah,
it's
more money than the Russians spent influencing our last election.
This is true. So in return, Lieber was obligated to work for WUT not less than 9 months a year by declaring international cooperation projects. And then he would cultivate young teachers and PhD students, organizing international conferences, applying for patents, publishing articles. All of this, he's doing this, and he did not disclose this. All right. So this is just this guy. I wish they could get him for treason. I wish they could get him for espionage. They had to go for him for all these other things. And the guy should rot in jail for the rest of his life, because we don't really shoot treasonous scumbags anymore, although I think we should. Hey, we're going to take a quick break here on Political Thursday, 508-871-7000 to join the conversation. I'm Joe Mangiacotti, sitting in for the vacationing Jerry Doherty. Back in a moment, folks.
Send lawyers, guns, and money.
Expert Agents Realty is a family-owned real estate firm with offices in 2 locations, Northborough and East Longmeadow. For 25 years, Mark Toomey, the owner-broker of Expert Agents Realty, has focused on providing buyer and seller clients the highest level of service in the industry. A licensed real estate broker, Mark has sold hundreds and hundreds of properties for clients in the Metro West and Worcester County areas, specializing in residential sales, single-family condominiums, multifamily homes, and land. Working with all types of buyers and sellers, including first-time buyers, retirees, investors, and builders. Being a full-service broker means handling every aspect of the buying and selling process, working with a team of local lenders, attorneys, and other industry professionals to help ensure a smooth buying and selling process. Call Mark today at 508-393-3383 and put the power of experience to work for you in your search for a new home. Yeah, I don't write the stuff.
Hey everybody, Ryan Maloney here from It's the Liquor Talking, letting you know that you can hear us Saturday mornings at 11, but also at our new time, weeknights, right after Howie Carr at 7 p.m. It doesn't stop there. Randall and I are going to stick around and host North Star Music after the show. So join us for New England's only show about wine and spirits, and then pour yourself a glass of your favorite adult beverage. Enjoy Randall and I as we listen to your favorite music on the North Star.
Play your next round of golf, plan your next tournament, fundraiser, or corporate event at Shining Rock. Whether you're looking to play a great round of golf at a premier course, planning an outing for 144, or an intimate corporate event, our seasoned staff with over 20 years of experience is dedicated to every aspect of your experience. Our pro shop and club pros work tirelessly to help you. You can book your tee time up to a week ahead, 7 days a week. Our event team will make sure your group has a memorable experience. We can customize events to your budget. Shining Rock's #1 priority is the success of your golf experience. Call and book your next round or to speak with our event staff today at 508-234-0400. That's 508-234-0400, or visit us on the web at www.shiningrock.com.
I had been unable to hear conversation.
I was blaming my family of whispering. I used to spend all the time saying, what?
If you or a loved one can identify with this, the hearing aid specialists Peter and Alex Lee at Professional Hearing on 33 Lyman Street in Westboro can correct or restore your hearing. Don't miss out on what you're not hearing. Call Peter and Alex Lee at 508-366-8686 or on the web at prohearinghealth.com.
The difference is amazing.
If you have a hearing loss and you don't have it corrected, you're losing out.
I would recommend Professional Hearing and Mr. Lee to anyone who experiences a hearing problem.
To find out if you have a hearing loss, call today, 508-366-8686, or go to prohearinghealth.com. Professional Hearing in Westboro. Schedule your free consultation now.
In a world as crazy as ours, isn't it nice to know there's one place you can visit for hours at a time to get a dose of reality, to find out how the other half is doing? Welcome to the radio home of Howie Carr. That's me. Visit anytime between 3 and 7 p.m. weekdays.
Now, Political Thursday continues on Full Service Radio, 830 WCRN.
The mic is live.
Tax the rich, feed the poor, till there are no rich no more.
All right, folks, welcome back to Political Thursday. I'm Joe Mangiacotti, sitting in for the vacationing Jerry Doherty. He's here Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock for Making Money Last. And every Thursday at 10 o'clock, we do this political show because, as Jerry says, you know, your money and politics, they do come together at some point. So don't forget that you can also catch Jerry at 11 o'clock Monday through Friday. And it's Boston Independence Group. He's right down the street. Very easy to reach. Toll free at 877-772-1776. I love that number. And that's how you can reach out to Jerry directly. So, by the way, just one more thing on that Harvard University professor, and I hope Harvard does the right thing there. It's Gordon Chang, right? He's from the Gatestone Institute. This is the guy who explained in detail many times that it is the mission of China to steal this intellectual property, and because of the fact that they are who they are, every citizen is required to conduct espionage or whatever the state directs them if asked to do so. And their attitude is straight out, and this is what Gordon Chang says: every American is corruptible, can be flipped, either by money, sex, or any other means that they have, and that they will do it on demand. So this is actually a very orchestrated, very specific program in China. They have been, you know, when people tell you something, believe them, right? When they say they're going to do something, believe them. We found this in politics, right? With Barack Obama, with Joe Biden. Well, there's incompetence playing there too. But the point is, they say it straight out. They will become a superpower. That's their mission. And they've been working at it a long time. And their plan is to get there without firing a shot if they can, but they're willing to do so if they need to. And if you aren't paying attention, watch Taiwan. Watch the Indian border with China. Right? They will do to Taiwan what they did to Hong Kong. So this Lieber was obligated to work for WT for not less than those 9 months. And during an interview with investigators, he stated that he was never asked to participate in the 1,000 Talents program, but he was. So anyway, he's been arrested. He's not going to end up doing hard time. And the problem there is that what they could get him on do not carry substantial penalties. Now, if they got him for treason, you know, that's life in prison. Or at least it's supposed to be. We used to line traitors up and shoot them in the wall. That's a different time. 508-871-7000 to join the conversation. 508-871-7000 for two-way talk in conversation. So look, this Build Back Better bill is dead. Have you been watching this? Joe Manchin was won many fights in his day. Came out. He actually first said it on Fox News. And what was funny about that, it was Brett Baer and the other guy left and went over to some CNN streaming thing. I don't know who would leave Fox News right now. Number one cable news network, highest ratings. I don't get it. But the point is, so the first Sunday show that you know who it is, right? We're not going to talk about him, is gone. Joe Manchin says it's a no. Now, this guy has 60% approval rating compared to Congress's, right? And this is a territory, his district, where he represents. Trump won it by 40 points, 40%. So he was there to represent the West Virginia voters and constituents, not broad. That's not his purpose. So he's going to be all right. Now, the thing about it is, and I talked about this all along because they kept saying one man is messing everything up. One man is stopping all this. This is the arrogance of the left, folks. Because it's not one man, it's the 50 other Republicans. But see, in their world, the Republicans don't count. They control both houses. Well, they control the House and, they have the Senate and they got the tiebreaker because they got Kamala and they've got the White House. So their feeling is they can do whatever they want and they're pushing it, anything through, everything and anything as fast as they can. But Joe Manchin knows that this is not a good bill. First of all, let's not even talk about what it is. We're talking about the spending. They lied to us about the amount, $1.5 trillion, right? And the Congressional Accounting Office comes back and they're saying, no, this is going to be like $4.7 trillion. When you add this up, we're pushing $10 trillion. You can't print that much money. You cannot put that much money out into the economy. We are already at Jimmy Carter bad days. We're back to the 70s here. You cannot keep flooding the economy with trillions of dollars. That is one of the root causes of all the other problems that we're having. Paying people to stay home and not go to work. Then we're kicking in mandates, these mask mandates that are being challenged. Right? The the Biden administration is being challenged for these mask mandates because they're unconstitutional. Now, the military has granted exceptions on the vaccine mandates, but they've not granted any on religious exemptions, which is bringing up a series of lawsuits there. So Joe Manchin is doing the right thing. And it really aggravates me when they spin it that one man is messing everything up. No, there are 50 other senators who aren't voting for this bill either. They count. Just because they're Republicans, that doesn't mean they don't count. And guys, AOC, I know the concept of how government is a little beyond you. You don't quite understand the chambers versus the branches of government, right? She thinks the branches are the House and Senate are two branches of government. I mean, I get it. BU is a little probably embarrassed about that degree they issued, especially in political science. But the point is, this is how it works. This is how it's supposed to work. If a bill can't get through on its merit, and then it can't get through with all of the pork and all of the favor and all of the threatening in there, that's what it's supposed to work. And I love that Joe Manchin comes out and he says, and this is right at the media and this is right at the squad. 1 minute. That they can threaten you and beat you up and get people to protest and just beat you into submission, he said. And then until you finally say, whatever, I'll vote, I'll give it whatever you want. And he comes off, he says, but I'm from West Virginia and that don't happen here. And I said, good for him. Because the stuff that's in that bill, because it's not this Build Back Better is ridiculous. It's Build Back Broke. Save the country, kill the bill. And that's what happened here, because this was loaded with the Green New Deal and socialist stuff. 30 seconds. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. What say you? 508-871-7000, 508-871-7000 to join the conversation. I'm Joe Mangiacotti, sitting in for the vacationing Jerry Doherty. Stick with us. Come back on the other side for the second half of the Thursday edition of Political Thursdays. Are you able to play the thing off my Facebook page, the Festivus poem?
This is Full Service
Foley with an AP News Minute. New this morning, the FDA has authorized a second pill to fight COVID-19, a Merck drug that can be taken at home. This comes a day after it cleared a competing drug from Pfizer. That pill is likely to become the first choice treatment against the virus due to what are considered superior benefits and milder side effects. The AP's Ed Donahue.
In tests, Pfizer's Paxlovid has shown a nearly 90% reduction in hospitalizations and deaths. Dr. Anthony Fauci says it can be taken at home.
A physician writing a prescription for someone who within the first 3 days of notable symptoms of COVID and is in a high-risk group to get it.
Side effects have been mild.
The FDA authorized Merck's drug for adults with early symptoms of COVID who face the highest risks of hospitalization, including older people and those with conditions like obesity and heart disease. I'm Rita Foley.
Tried Eucrisa for mild to moderate eczema? It works at and below the skin surface and can be used on almost everybody, like on the dimples of a diva. Yeah, roll your boat. Yeah, roll your boat. Or the shoulders of a chef. Look, Mom, I made jelly beans on toast. Steroid-free Eucrisa works at and below the skin surface. It blocks enzymes
My
which is
Facebook
believed to
page.
reduce inflammation, even on the wrist.
My personal, not
Joe Mangiacotti.
Yeah, just Joe Mangiacotti, not the
Eucrisa
page
works is not
page.
well defined. Prescription Eucrisa for mild to
So if
moderate
you just go to
eczema
my
is for topical
personal
use
one,
only in ages 3
and I
months
think
and
it's
up.
probably the
Do
last
not
thing
use
I
if you are
posted.
allergic to Eucrisa, crisaborole ointment 2%, or its ingredients. Allergic reactions, including
Yeah,
hives,
it's right
itching,
at the
swelling,
top.
and redness, may occur at or near the application site. The most common side effect is application site
Let me
pain,
be
such
one of
as
the
burning
first to
or
wish you a
stinging.
happy
Come on, moms
Festivus
and
for the
dads,
rest of
check
us.
out
Got it?
Eucrisa.com and ask your doctor about Eucrisa. Can I sing one more song?
So when I come back, I'll wish everybody a Festivus again and then just play
Weather
it.
Center. Call Jerry Doherty today at 877-772-1776. Retirement is within reach.
I'm meteorologist Sherry Spear, and here's the latest Boston 25 weather on Radio 830 WCRN. It's going to be a cold one out there today. In fact, temperatures only get into the upper 20s and lower 30s this afternoon. It is literally going to be freezing all day in most spots, but at least the sun continues. Now get set, because tomorrow morning we are expecting a little bit of snow, going with a coating up to an inch of snow Friday morning. It will clear out in the afternoon. I'm Sherry Spear, and you can hear Boston 25 live for the morning drive weekdays on AM 830 WCRN.
Another thrilling Thursday in New England. I'm Ted A. It is December 23rd. A report from Consumer Affairs confirms what all Bay Staters already know firsthand. Massachusetts roads are some of the worst in America. Quoting the published review, bad road conditions are more than inconvenient. They can be dangerous and lead to expensive car issues. The roads are bad. However, there are 472 bridges in trouble. In an extremely advantageous timeline, the Commonwealth will receive more than $800 million for infrastructure improvements from the Federal Highway Administration. Here is where the rubber hits the road as Mass DOT sends out the cash. Will it be regional equity or more bike paths for wealthy communities in the eastern part of the state? The WCRN News is brought to you by John the Roofer, a leader in the roofing and home improvements business for more than 17 years. All right, here we go. Call 866-906-ROOF or go to the internet and see johnTheRoofer.com.
You're listening to Political Thursday on Full Service Radio, 830 WCRN.
Your mic is live.
Tax the rich, feed the poor, tell there are no rich no more.
All right, folks, welcome back to the second half of the first hour of Political Thursday here in AM 830 WCRN, our affiliates, live streaming on the TuneIn app, as well as our Facebook page. I happen to also be streaming this on my platforms at Joe Mangi Show, folks. So Twitter, Facebook, my LinkedIn page, Twitch TV, and my YouTube channel. Also, many ways to listen to this show. Again, 508-871-7000 to join the conversation. This is Political Thursday, sitting in for Jerry Doherty, and you can join him Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock for Making Money Last, and you can always reach him at his office at Boston Independence Group, right down the street from the station. Easy to get to. Plus, he has satellite offices all over the place. Toll-free number, and this is the greatest number to have, 877-772-1776. That's how you can reach out to him. Now, here we are the day before Christmas Eve Day, which means it is Festivus, and I want to wish everybody a Festivus for the rest of us. And we all know where that comes from, Rose, right? We got it?
Stell.
Oh, there we go.
George was stirring in his own personal hell. Frank shopped for a doll, the one George demanded. But he arrived late and left empty-handed. As the blows rained down on an innocent man, Frank had an epiphany, a new master plan. A new holiday would emerge from the rubble. Far from the stress, the tinsel, the trouble. They would air grievances to all who have sinned. The celebrations would last until somebody was pinned. So when you bring out the pole from the old crawl space, may you always remember Frank's beautiful face. The end. This holiday season, save a tree, celebrate Festivus.
All right, folks. Festivus. How do you think that's a good idea, Ted? That everybody take the poll out, right? Instead of holding up all that pented anger and frustration for the year, you cleanse yourself and you air your grievances at Festivus.
Where's the fun in that? I mean, part of
At least it's
part of the
organized.
holiday season is the season of hunting down those who have irritated the life out of you,
done you wrong,
and giving you the opportunity where they have to be in front of you as a captured audience. How can you turn that down, Joe? Especially in your
don't.
business. I mean, you're in the business of entertainment, and it is quite entertaining to watch people sweat.
Well, I think it was a great concept that George. No, it was what's the father's name? Estelle's the mother. Frank Costanza came up with because he was laying blows down to a guy who got the last president. He came up with this. It was one of the best iconic things out of the Seinfeld, and many iconic stuff have come out of Seinfeld. All right, folks, this is Political Thursday. I'm Joe Mangiacotti, sitting in for the vacationing Jerry Doherty. So the bill is dead, but the media won't let it, right? They still give you this hope that it could be revived after the holidays, this kind of thing. No, I don't think so. And look, they know, and you don't have to be able to read tea leaves, folks, to see what's going to happen in the midterm elections. And this could be on par with some of the other classic massive swings in midterm elections over the years that have taken place. And, you know, we're going to see Nancy Pelosi no longer at the gavel, Mitch McConnell probably the majority leader, and then you know, it's not going to happen, right? Any of this, as it is, Biden's not getting through everything that he wants to get through. And the thing about that is, they talk about it's a win, it's a win. See, this is the mentality of inside the Beltway. The Build Back Better bill, if it was to pass, is anything but a win. That might be considered in that warped way a win politically for Joe Biden, but it would be a losing proposition for the country. This thing is loaded with social spending bills and Green New Deal, right? The whole concept of going green is fantastic, right? I absolutely 100% agree that we have to pay attention to Mother Earth and take care of her. But the way of doing it is just forcing it with massive spending and taxes, opposed to letting it happen in its right time organically with incentives. Let's not forget, for 140 years or so, we were on the path of perfecting and building, the combustion engine and working off of fossil fuels. Well, we have natural gas, which is a very clean way to go, by the way, and you can't do this overnight. So taxing us to death doesn't make us go green. And this stuff about, okay, and the president now is changing, the mileage requirements, and they really want everybody to buy an electric car. I don't know about you. You had a Prius or have Priuses, right?
Yeah,
which are very,
it was
green.
the original
The
version,
original, right? And it was a hybrid.
Yeah, it was a hybrid. It wasn't an electric car,
right? And I think that hybrids make so much sense. I don't understand why that's not first. Let's go all hybrid. It's as if they want to shut off all fossil fuel for us, but not the rest of the country, right? Because China is straight out.
Yeah, the rest of the world is not considered a developed country, so they want to punish the developed country,
yeah,
and allow the underdeveloped countries to catch up.
Well, I wouldn't classify China as an undeveloped country when they are kicking our butt in space right now. And have you heard this latest, right? Thought control. Now they're developing AI and the ability that commanders would be able to fire weaponry by thought impulse, not even having to pull a trigger. So I think we need to be careful how we classify China. And we have China and India, which are the two largest polluters on the planet that we have no control over. And you're in these taxing us and these carbon credits and all this bull that they want to do is just it's tying one hand behind the back of American business. It makes no sense. So this is loaded, and it's not going to pass at this point, but it was very dangerous, folks. A big part of it was an army of IRS agents to go after you. Now, it's not that they're going to go after the big guys, because they already have huge staffs of lawyers who are watching all the taxes and taking advantage of all of the tax laws, which is why when you have Senator Warren out there who is so clueless, I'd really like to know, what has this woman actually done to produce anything? Because she goes after Elon Musk, right? One of the, if not the richest, one of the richest men on the planet, who this year, by the way, this year he's going to pay over $11 billion in income tax. The most paid, I believe, if my understanding or research correct, the most paid by any individual in the history of us ever collecting taxes. He's going to pay $11 billion. And even without Elon Musk into the situation, folks, right? The top evil 1%, that evil 1% are responsible for 40% of the income tax revenue into the coffers. Is that fair? And the top 10% is responsible for 60% of all the revenue that comes in. So when you have somebody like Joe Manchin who says, I just can't, and he stuck to his guns, and he put up with the threats and the bullying. And then you've got has-beens. This always kills me when the Hollywood elites, folks, have to jump into this. And I have to go back to, Dolly Parton, who won't ever get political, right? She says right out, no, I'm not going to get, why would I piss off half of my fan base? She won't do it. She's like, I'm here to sing and entertain y'all. That's what you're here for. not to listen to me. I agree 100%. Okay, so Rosie O'Donnell, you're not a statesman. And Bette Midler, far from it. And she goes after Manchin. And if you really want to know, because if anything's, has happened that's kind of good in the last couple of years, is whatever veneer there was there for the political elite and the Hollywood elite and so forth, it's been pulled back just a little bit. And we've gotten a real look behind that facade. And she says, Bette Midler says, Manchin wants us to be like West Virginia. And this is what she tweets out: poor, illiterate, and strung out. So what she thinks of West Virginians is that they're just idiots. They're poor, which is interesting that is a derogatory term for her.
Sounds deplorable to me.
Well, this is this year's the deplorable basket of deplorables, folks.
Well, when you look at these women all together, maybe the reason they feel that they're entitled to impose their point of view is because there's so much of them. I mean, there's at least...
You mean numbers are so much in size?
I'm sorry, I've got to get this.
Yeah, you get that. So the point is, she calls everybody in West Virginia poor, illiterate, and strung out. She thinks they're poor, which she's using in a negative way here, not just in a class thing. Illiterate, and then all druggies because they're strung out. Well, West Virginia has a higher literacy rate than New York and California, 86, 78 respectively to 77%. So she's living in a more illiterate state than West Virginia, folks. But we do have to take a break here on Political Thursday.
She knows where the Blue Hills are. I don't know.
This woman, I didn't want to get into just my disdain for Hollywood type speaking up on politics. Dance, monkey, dance. That's what you're here
Joe,
for,
you were
man.
taking us out of here. Let's go.
All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break here on Political Thursday. Joe Mangiacotti in for the vacationing Jerry Doherty, 508-871-7000. Stick with us. Back on the other side.
Send lawyers, guns, and money. Oh! Yeah.
You're on your way home and you get the call. We need milk. And how about some snacks to watch TV tonight?
So much of
them.
them.
No matter where you are in Central Mass or Metro West, you can find what you need at a Yetco Food Mart. Not to mention great gas
it takes
prices.
one to know
you
one,
can fill
right?
up the gas tank
What's that?
and get all your
So
snack
much
needs
of
as well as milk and
them.
all at competitive
There
prices.
is a lot of
that
them.
won't empty the wallet.
Especially during
Yetco Food Mart,
they are.
serving you best for over 25 years. Yetco.
Those things we most cherish are all put at risk through the improper disposal of mercury in everyday items. Fluorescent lamps, thermometers, thermostats all contain mercury. Mercury Recovery Program is designed to assist your community in the safe disposal of this heavy metal. For more information about where to dispose of these products, contact your local Board of Health, Department of Public Works, or visit our website at keepmercuryfromrising.org. Working together, we can keep our environment safe.
Attention all contractors. The Massachusetts Mercury Management Act makes it illegal to improperly dispose of old thermostats in the trash. They contain mercury that can be harmful to human health and the environment. Building and HVAC contractors, plumbers, and electricians, please properly dispose of all mercury thermostats. Contact your local health or public works department for information on where to safely dispose of thermostats in your community. Visit online, keepmercuryfromrising.org for details. Brought to you by Win Waste Innovations. Performance for the planet.
Testimonials stream in daily describing the many benefits found with CBD Bionaturals. One benefit is improved sleep. During sleep, your immune system releases proteins called cytokines, needed to fight infections, inflammation, and stress. That's right, proteins you need to fight infections, inflammation, and stress just when you need it most. With 100% satisfaction guaranteed. Go to cbdbionow.com because now is the time to improve and protect your health. That's cbdbionow.com.
New Year's resolutions don't have to be a drag. For 2022, ditch dry January and commit to getting
All right, a
cultured
little less
at
than a
Canal
minute.
District Wines, a new boutique wine shop in the Worcester Public Market. With its fun tastings and knowledgeable staff, Canal District Wines is the perfect place to learn all about reds, whites, rosés, and more. Follow us on @Canal District Wines or visit canaldistrictwines.com to learn more. Love the wine you're with at Canal District Wines, a women-owned, LGBTQ-owned, locally owned small business.
30 seconds.
In a world as crazy as ours, isn't it nice to know there's one place you can visit?
Can you give
for
me a
hours at
hand in
time
here?
to get a dose of
Howie's
reality?
head is getting
to
out of
find
the
out
box.
How the other half is doing? Welcome to the radio home
The mental
of Howie
image I
Carr.
just had of that.
That's me. Visit anytime between 3 and 7 p.m. weekdays.
All right, here we go. Your mic is live.
Now, Political Thursday continues on Full Service Radio, 830 WCRN.
Tax the rich, feed the poor, tell there are no rich no more.
And welcome back to the final segment of the Thursday edition of Political Thursdays. Funny that it works out on Thursdays, Ted. That's great planning. I don't know how that happens. I think it's by mistake mostly.
It's the least we can do.
508-871-7000 to join the conversation. I do want to talk about this bill and a little bit about COVID, but I need to go to the phones and say Merry Christmas and Happy Festivus to Ken. And my apologies, Ken, because I did not realize you were sitting on the line that long. My bad.
Good morning, Joe and Ted.
Morning.
It might be the last call of the year, but it may be the most important and informational that you've had all year.
Awesome.
I listened to watched a YouTube video last night. It's Peak Prosperity. So get out your paper and pencil. Peak Prosperity. It's called Omicron Deaths. It's delivered by Chris Martinson. That's Martenson. He's from Western Massachusetts. Either you or Jerry should have him as a guest.
Yeah. Okay.
He is a PhD from Duke, a master's from Cornell, and his specialty is medical numbers. In other words, diagnosing the numbers and breaking it down. So as you can imagine, COVID is just right up his alley,
Right.
and he's actually quite famous now from it. And so his video last night, let me cut to the chase, as to his conclusion is the news is so good that if Omicron were a vaccine, it would be immediately approved by the FDA because
Right.
it's 10 times more effective
Yep.
in knocking out deaths than any vaccine has been. You've called it nature's vaccine, and
Yeah.
it is.
It is nature's vaccine. And this is this has an 80% less hospitalization rate, right, than any other variant that we've had. And it's the fact that in when they say, Ken, we were caught off guard and this is a surprise. No, it wasn't. Right? You had former CDC doctors and directors. You had medical doctors. You've had virologists and researchers saying there will be another variant. And when it comes back, it's going to be much more contagious. So this caught by surprise, as Joe Biden said, who would have known? Who could have possibly known this? Well, pretty much everybody else but the White House.
4 weeks ago. So anybody who's following like I was just excited about
Yeah.
the information because it being contagious isn't bad as long as it's a lot weaker. That's the big story. It is a lot.
Yeah. Look, it's already dropped off basically the face of the earth in Southern Africa. Right?
That's the other great story. It was quick and done.
Gone. Yeah. And it is. And at the same time, I'm asking questions about why it's taken so long for some of these medications to come into the mainstream, right? The monoclonal antibodies, the vector. I always have
Ivermectin.
Yes, ivermectin.
Great
Right?
stuff. Back to the bill.
Pardon me? Oh, so the now Pfizer's pill, right? That I think might even be, was it approved yesterday?
Yes.
Yeah, that was approved yesterday, right?
Take it.
Now you have to take that within 72 hours of the diagnosis. Now the problem there is Joe Biden comes out and he's talking about these testing kits. Why, we're entering our third year of this. And he's going to send out, half a million test kits or
Way
something.
too late.
Yeah, they should be out. right? But the point is
This is
about
gonna be
this,
gone by
folks.
then.
You can go to a test, right? Go get tested at basically a super spreader event, right? You've got tents and vans on the street, and you got the line going around the block, shoulder to shoulder. So you're going to a super spreader event to get tested. You go in, you get tested, you can be negative, walk across the street to grab a coffee, pick up the virus, and it's all for naught. So home tests are very important.
But Joe, by the time they arrive, this is going to be over. We're
Well,
literally
exactly.
going to look at this and say,
Those
"I'll hand
tests
this
should have
over to my
been
grandchildren."
perfected and sent out a while ago. The act that we use, right? What's the act I'm drawing a blank on? Trump used it for warp speed. In times of war, you put it in place. I'm pulling a Biden right now. We all are, right? It should have been used. Defense Act, right? Should have been used to tell these labs like Quest and so forth that you need to create and manufacture home tests by the hundreds of millions and gotten them out. Because if you're at home and you can test on a regular basis and you come up positive, you take the Pfizer pill within 72 hours, you're good, right? No hospitalization, no nothing. Now this Omicron variant has done it for us. In essence, Ken.
The Levoxid pill hasn't been fully tested for side effects, so it's not going to matter.
It doesn't matter. Hey, the Army also, right? So now we're reading the Army came up with the one that they've developed isn't an RMNA. It's actually a traditional vaccine, more like the Johnson & Johnson. But apparently the first response or testing on this is it's far more effective than the Johnson & Johnson. And because it's a traditional vaccination, it will handle.
Joe, can we just point something out?
All of the variants.
A vaccine has an inoculant present, not an mDNA SKU.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a vaccine.
No.
So ask yourself this question. Why did they have to lie about the identity of this thing from the get-go? What the Army produced is a vaccine. It has an inoculant
100% the question. But they have, this has been a one solution fit all type of thing, forcing us down. There's no discussion about all of the different medications and treatments that we have, the natural immunity that can take place. You notice this, Ken, how the conversation, right? And if you ever mentioned herd immunity a couple months ago and further back, you're wiped off of the digital footprints wiped off.
It's only existed for an entirety of mankind.
Yeah, exactly.
Because mankind wouldn't have survived without it.
Yeah.
So stupid that the argument against it.
Thanks, Ken.
Pardon me?
Nobody can hear me but you.
All right. Oh, okay. Oh, we're doing that rush thing. All right. He's talking to my ear, and I think you're going out over the air. All right. Ken, any final thoughts? Because we're running against the clock now.
Yes. Your little Seinfeld Festivus.
Yes.
Check out Izzy Mandelbaum, because that's who Joe Biden is, and that was played by Lloyd Bridges. Just do a YouTube video of Izzy Mandelbaum.
Oh, the pizza magnet, right? Wasn't that he had the sons and they're working out?
You got to watch it.
Yeah.
You got to watch it. It's Joe Biden.
All right. Awesome. All right, Ken. Thanks for the call, man. All right, folks. So the whole thing here is that the Omicron is, and I said this weeks ago, it's nature's vaccination. It's
1 minute.
It's a great, it's a great thing to happen, folks, because it's going to whip through the world. It's going to give everybody just enough of it's going to be a little sniffle, and that's it. It's like a common cold. As a matter of fact, people are calling it the Omnicold. And you get the antibodies, and your body develops that vaccination against it. So let's just remember, folks. You know what? We're not a nation of two, right? We should not be divided. We need to come together on this And we need another
30
Christmas
seconds.
miracle when it comes to all of this. All right, so I want to say Merry Christmas and Happy Festivus to everybody. Jerry, thank you for sitting in. I hope you're enjoying your fantastic vacation. Obviously, we'll all be off this weekend because it will be Christmas music. Enjoy it with your family and your loved ones. But I will be back Monday at 1 o'clock for the Joe Mangiacotti Show on Mondays. So I will see you right here on the radio after the holiday, folks. Ted, Merry Christmas to you, sir.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
I love that you dress like Santa all year long.
Comes with the territory.
All right, folks. Merry Christmas. Take care.
Santa lawyers, guns, and money. Oh! Yeah.
You've been listening to Political Thursday on Full Service Radio, 830 WCRN.